Have you ever volunteered for any social cause? Why? I participated in a tree plantation drive because the picnic site kind of scenario was there and my friends were going. I donated blood for the first time in my life during my college because there were biscuits and vada pav for the donors. As a teenager, I always participated in social activities just as a fun activities until I realized the true sense of individual's social responsibility. It is a term which is way more powerful and impactful when realized within it could make this world a better place. One person can bring a lot of change in the community. And that's what I realized. And with this realization during our wedding, we decided instead of using rice in the rituals as akshata, which anyways goes for waste, we will use flowers and petals. Now, during this particular cause, we gave rice to only the Panditji, and rest of the attendees, they got flowers and petals as akshata. Now, during this wedding, we tried to contribute towards two different causes. First one, we bought quintals of flowers from farmers directly from their farms. And then the rice, almost 100 kg of rice, which would otherwise have gone for waste, we donated that to an orphanage. Now, the flowers everywhere in our wedding, it created a lot of beauty, it added a lot of beauty to our wedding. But more than that, the blessings from those happy farmers, happier students and kids at that orphanage, and the happiest parents added a lot of beauty to our wedding and made it worth remembering. Now after our wedding, a lot of friends, they also got married. Some of the relatives, they also got married. But to my surprise, none of them followed us. And that made me think how difficult it is for people to follow good things. And also, how can we help them realize their individual social responsibility? And then while pondering upon this, I realized that we can help them fulfill their responsibility as a parent. Parenting is one of the most important social responsibility because when parenting goes wrong, most of the things goes wrong in the life. Parenting is something which can either make us or break us, our families, and not just that, but also societies. Now, right from naming our kid to raising them and molding them to a better human being, it is a huge social responsibility. Shakespeare has said that what's in a name, but let me tell you, there is a lot. Just imagine of kids whose parents were big fan of Hrithik Roshan, the Bollywood star, and in the confusion of his real name and also its spelling, they named their kids as Hrithik, Ritvik, Rutik, and whatever they wanted to do. And then later they realized that, oh no, it was Hrithik. H-R-I-T-H-I-K. Just imagine if your parents have called you as Champak. Now, on a serious note, our names also hold a potential to shape our mindset. And that is very important realization we should have as a parent. Last year, we were blessed with a baby girl. We became parents. And then the first responsibility for us as a parent was to name her. Now, as per the ritual, we gave her few names which will anyways hold a lot of significance in our life. In 2020, I left the corporate world in the pursuit of my dream of empowering millions of youth towards innovation, entrepreneurship, and started my first social startup. After 3.5 years of preparation, planning, and perseverance, and all the capacity building, I decided to reach out to one of my inspiration for his support and guidance. Now, after approaching him with a lot of hope, rather confidence that definitely he would revert us, I started checking my mailbox every minute. I started picking up unknown numbers and all the regular spams that we usually receive for credit cards, bank loans, this and that, right? Now, on 10th April 2023, a blessed soul blessed us by choosing us as her parents. In the afternoon, I was blessed with a baby girl. Then I was just sitting beside my wife and my daughter, and all of a sudden my mobile beeped. When I checked my mobile, I saw a mail which had a letter from none other than my inspiration, Mr. Ratan Tata. When I informed Mr. Tata about this coincidence, just within few weeks, we got a photograph of my daughter autographed by Mr. Tata. Today, Mr. Tata is not with us physically, but his entire life will inspire generations to come, including my daughter. And hence we named her as Ratan. The second name. When we got the good news, as a believer of power of universe, the first thing I asked from the universe that let our pregnancy be one of the mediums to bring one of the most powerful and enlightened souls on this planet for the betterment of human beings. As we were blessed with a baby girl, no doubt she is a powerful soul. And also we could sense the calmness, poise, and spiritual vibes in her. So we named her as Yogi as well. Yogi doesn't mean just somebody who does yoga, but lives in sync with the universe. The third name. During the 7th month of pregnancy, we decided to seek blessings from one of the greatest examples of motherhood that we know, Jizamata, the mother of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. After climbing Raigad Fort, we realized that we should raise our kid just like Jizamata did, just like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, brave, a leader in true sense, visionary. Also, we should devote ourselves to our kid just like Hirkani. You must be knowing her story, right? A woman from a base village who climbed down that toughest fort in the night just because her child was alone at her home, at risk. As a great example of motherhood and source of inspiration from Jizamata, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and also Hirkani, the third name we gave her is Jiza. The fourth name, she was born on Monday, which is devoted for the worshipping Lord Shiva. And Shiva is also known as Arav. As she was a girl, we named her as Aravi, which means a peaceful soul in sadhana. And it also goes with the trend of combining names that Amol plus Bhairavi equals to Aravi. So we named her as Aravi as well. And last but not the least, when we gave the good news to our friends, one of my friends said that now we'll get a lot of blessings and wealth and prosperity because now you got a daughter. I told him that we already got one. She's our real Lakshmi, rather Mahalakshmi. And as per our horoscope, it suggested that we should name her, and her name should start with Ni. So we named her as Nityashri, which means Goddess Lakshmi. Now, I know that I have laid on her shoulders with a lot of responsibilities to carry out these names throughout her life and fulfill to the expectations, rather being cautious for not spoiling the repetition and the gravity, rather magnitude of these names. But that responsibility is something which will make her leg strong and stand tall in front of the world to make it a better place. Well, parenting is not just about naming our names, but giving them all types of exposures in their lives. Now, our daily routine starts something like this. Once we get up, we go to our terrace. Then we do Surya Namaste, not Surya Namaskar yet. After that, she says hello to all the green friends that we have on our terrace. And then we sit under sun. We enjoy the sun bath with a sip of coffee. And after that, we come down and watch Abhanga on TV. She has been a great fan of Mahesh Kalji, one of the most celebrated Indian classical singers who takes us to the divinity through his music. This has been her ritual since she was just 8 months old. It's been almost 10 months. She has been listening to his song, his music, his Abhanga every single day, even today. Now, after knowing this, one of my friends called me and said, "Are you going to make your daughter as a singer?" I just smiled and said, "Let it be her choice. I'll not decide that. Let her decide her choice. Let her take her call, whether she wants to become a singer or anything else in her life. I'm just introducing her to Abhanga. Because once she grows up and develops intellectual capabilities to understand the deeper meaning of Abhanga, her life would be sorted. That's it. Why to expect anything else but excellence and enlightenment from such pure souls?" This brings the very important aspect of parenting, that is nothing but shackles of expectations. We often put our kids in a rat race just to fulfill our expectations, just to follow the societal norms. We don't want to be one of the parents who will simply follow the societal norms and what do you say, reduce or make them a slave of our constraints of the society. We don't want to confine their potential just because of those societal norms, especially education system. Rather than making her sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I'd be more than happy to let her explore actual twinkling stars in the night. And see, everything should be kind of an exploration for your kids, for our kids. And we are happy to share with you that we have been exploring a lot of things. Lot of things means right from witnessing India win the second T20 Cricket World Cup, to exploring our roots, our culture, our traditions, to going to TEDx talks, right? Apart from that, going to villages and being in sync with the nature, looking at mangoes, cattle, pets, being a Kolhapurkar, exploring sports is a must thing, right? And apart from that, we are exploring technology, culinary skills, as she's a girl, she must be loving that. Then car driving, and also we went for forest camping, followed by a meteor shower experience to explore the beautiful dark sky with full of stars. That kind of exposure we have been giving to our daughter. Well, we should also build a circle of influence cautiously and consciously around our kids, because we are shaped by the influence of our circumstances, people around us, situations in our lives. Everything is the byproduct of our influence, right? So now in her circle of influence, we have one of the greatest people that we know in the history of humankind. Right from the first gold medal winner in Paralympics for India to the recent one, right? From the movie stars to the best of the best singers, she has been lucky enough to get blessings from these great individuals and personalities. And not just that, right from one of the most respected social reformers to farmer leaders to the youngest captain of Indian football women's team to one of the youngest MLAs of Maharashtra and so many youth icons of Maharashtra, IAS, social entrepreneurs. These are the great people, right? They are not just online real stars. They are real stars on ground. And their greatness will be something which will inspire her to strive for excellence in her life, to attain excellence throughout her life. And that is what we should help her or help our kids by building the circle of influence. Well, we have been investing a lot of love, values, care while upbringing our daughter. Because we know that being an entrepreneur, the return on investment will be something which will be a gift for the humankind. Just help them explore whatever they want to explore in their life. That will be the real parenting for your kid. Now, those who are yet to get married or don't have kids, what about them? Don't rush, your time will come. Meanwhile, you can parent pets and plants. Just imagine if every family in our country takes care of one plant and maybe a pet. Our world would be much more greener and our families would be much more happier with the blessings from those pets. We can tell you that we have been parent to hundreds of plants that we have grown on terrace and some of the pets that we have at our family. Now, the most important aspect of this kind of responsibility, that is ISR, individual social responsibility, with respect to parenting is parenting our own parents. Sounds confusing? Let me explain. See, when we were kids, our parents took care of us. They gave us unconditional love. Now, by the nature of this life, eventually, the inevitable fact is they get older. And then they start behaving like a kid. That time, we should become their parent. But unfortunately, not everybody realizes this particular thing, this particular phenomena, and they abandon their parents. While researching about old age homes in our country, I realized that there are some cases where people in those old age house, they did not have kids. That's fine. Or it was a mutual choice between them and their children for a good reason. Again, that is also fine. But then there were people who abandoned their parents. Who does that? There were several case studies also I read. An old woman was abandoned by her son on a bus stop. A old man was abandoned by his son in a hospital. A couple abandoned by their daughter-in-law and son right after taking all the property from them. And some of them committed suicide as well. Literally, who does that? Such children plagued with false sense of prestige, career, success, name, fame in the so-called modernized society are not less than cancer to humanity. In true sense. I can tell you that I do remember I refused on-site opportunity to Sydney in 2016 because it was the same time when my mother was diagnosed with diabetes. It took almost 8 hours for me to reach my native from Pune. How much it would have taken from Sydney? As a blessing maybe, just few days later I received one of the golden opportunities to join the topmost leadership team for my organization to lead CSR, and since then rest has been the history, rather history in making. After graduation, in spite of being the best student, I was not placed. During that toughest phase, everybody except my parents was questioning my existence in this world, my abilities. In the frustration, I left my hometown, I went to Pune with only 700 rupees in my pocket, but with lots of blessings and trust from my parents. It is a different thing that within 15 days I got the best offer, but had it not been the trust, care, blessings and support from my parents, I would have easily succumbed to the societal pressure. That unemployed tag, right? While building my startup, the social venture, my father sold our farm. My mother sold her jewelry, Gantan, just to support me follow my passion and pursue my dream of empowering millions of youth from rural India towards innovation, entrepreneurship. My father sold our cow, the only medium of our livelihood then, to support my education. Had it not been them, I wouldn't have been where I am today. And I do remember that. One should not forget what their parents have done for them. And last but not the least, we should be parent to ourselves. We should parent our dreams, our passion, our hobbies, whatever we love to the core in our life, because nobody else will does. Right? I have been parenting my startups. Right? As an entrepreneur, I have been parenting my startups, my passion, my everything with utmost care, love, affection, passion, dedication to build a strong value system which will result into one of the most impactful setups, not just for the society but also for the industry. Right? So parenting is all about that. Now, see, we don't have to be the best parents. Being good is good enough. And that is very easy. But still, if you find it difficult to fulfill your social responsibility or maybe a parenting, let me share the recent example. Just 2 weeks back, my mother was hospitalized. Now, in the daytime, I was parenting my daughter as well as my mother in that hospital. And once they fell asleep, I was parenting my passion, this TED talk, public speaking. It was around 2:30 a.m. I was sitting there working on the draft for this talk. And all of a sudden, I saw a lady crying and praying. Maybe her son was in ICU. Maybe he met with an accident and he was in critical situation. Now imagine this situation. I was here, she was there, and in between us, there was a Ganesh temple. And looking at her, I don't know how and why, all of a sudden, I started chanting Ganesh Arti in my mind. I started praying for the betterment of her son, for his good health. I mean, that was the least I could do at that point in time. If you find it difficult, at least pray for the well-being of others. Because whatever happening in this universe is pure exchange of energies, all types of energies. Let's choose to be the positive one by doing our bit towards society. Thank you so much. Happy parenting.